Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I am so glad you could join us today, because look who is here with me. You don't know who this is. I'm sure most of you, whoever's watching, won't know this person as in seeing them, but you might know this person from being on previous live streams, because this is Sylvie. Sylvie very often joins the live stream, which I found to be a tremendous support, because she's got quite a story. And her story and my story are very similar on many, many levels, and it has brought us to a place where we value things in a certain way. And so today, Sylvie is here, right here at Oikos, and she was no plan whatsoever for her to come here and sit here with me in the live streaming. But I said to her, please, Sylvie, won't you join me with live streaming? And she went, maybe. But anyway, eventually, it didn't take too much persuading, but here she is. So thank you for being here with us.
Pleasure.
And as you know, live streaming always means tea.
Tea.
Right, so it's tea time. And again, we both enjoy black Rooibos.
We do.
For people who don't know what Rooibos is, in case there's some people there in foreign parts of the
Thank
world,
you.
Rooibos is actually a tea that is made here in South Africa. And it mostly comes from the Cape, doesn't it? It's grown in the Cape, a bush. And Rooi is Afrikaans for red, and Bos is Afrikaans for bush. So in English, it would be red bush tea. So there's your Rooibos.
Thank you.
Okay, so thank you, ladies, for joining us today. And before we get involved in answering any questions, but please, if you've got any questions, just start putting them there. We're not ignoring you. We're going to come back and look at what questions are there, and we're going to answer them for you. And if you've got any questions, as Sylvie's sharing her story, if you've got any questions for you, you can put them there too. And then you will do your best to answer them. We will do what we can. But for now, I just want to really hand over to Sylvie to ask you to tell us your story. So I think you can just presume that people don't know, even if you are home educating, or even if how many children you got or anything. So let's start with your family. How many children do you have?
We have 4 children. We have an 11-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 19-month-old.
And it's 2 girls and 2 boys.
2 girls and 2 boys.
And you've got, your story is very specific in the fact that you've got a before and after story.
I have a before and after, yes.
Because when I met Sylvie, I met her at the before Sylvie, and now I see the after Sylvie, and it's quite dramatic, the difference. So would you like to just tell us the story? How did it come to be so dramatically different?
Well, we had some very traumatic experiences, in that my son became very ill. And so before he became ill, home educating was all about, the maths and the reading and the knowledge. And after, it became more about discipling my children and teaching them about, our Saviour. And the formal studies are really not that important anymore at this point. We still do them because we have to. But
well, that's been responsible, just seeing that your children
yes,
are being educated in numeracy and literacy.
yes,
But even that isn't as important to you, because your little guy, Sebastian,
yes,
who was so critically ill,
yes.
he's now going on 7. Was he 7?
No, he's 6. He will be turning 7 in January.
Oh, in January. So he's nearly 7.
Yes.
And you're not concerned about his education?
No,
As far as the formal?
No.
Why's that?
No, because it's just not that important. When my girls were little, I think my eldest was 5, is when we started home educating, and I was like, she needs to learn how to read, and she needs to learn her numbers. So
That was the Sylvie I met.
Yes, that was the Sylvie you met. And I was all like panicking about things, and how am I going to do this? And now, my boy is going to turn 7 in 2 months. And no, I haven't done anything with him yet. And I'm not panicking about it.
Like you were with Mary Kate. It is Mary Kate, your eldest.
Mary Kate, yes.
So how would you say, what would you describe as the reason why it went so dramatically? I mean, you said Sebastian was very ill, but you were this Sylvie, this mom that was really stressed about your eldest's education,
Yes.
as far from an academic point of view.
Yes.
And now you've got a son of the same age and you're not concerning yourself with academics?
No, I think it's because of what we've been through as a family. We've just learned that those formal things are just not important, but being together as a family and just coming alongside your children and teaching them about what really is important, that is what's sticking out now on this side of the story.
And you said just a little earlier when we were sitting waiting for our last room, you said to me that you're so enjoying just watching Sebastian.
Yes.
Because you know as a mom that he was possibly hours away from the end of his life.
Yes.
And now you're watching his life. And I mean, I've been enjoying him this morning.
Yes.
And he is just such a little chatterbox, and
Yes.
he's got such a sharp mind.
Yes.
I mean, we were sitting there and was it a starling?
Yeah, yes, it was.
Lands on the branch on the tree outside, and he goes, "Oh, look, that starling's looking at me." And it was like he and the starling were
Yes.
engaging with one another, and he knew straight away the bird's name.
Yes.
And now what you're saying is you're not concerning yourself so much about his academic because you're enjoying just experiencing him living.
Yes, well, we
The moments.
nearly lost him. It was very, very, what he had was very serious. It's a miracle that he's still with us. And that he's so well, because he's 100% well now. And he's a blessing from God. And I don't want to ruin like his childhood now with going back there and being a stressed out mommy about maths and reading. Like he came through this great ordeal in his little life, and he deserves to be a child now. And I think I deserve to enjoy him. I don't need to ruin this little bit of his childhood that he has with maths and reading and all these.
But you know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking about the people that might be joining us or
Yes.
watching this after, and I'm thinking, I wonder if some of them are wondering if that's not also important, the academics. Like, so in other words, I'm asking you, does it have any importance to you, or is it something that you think you'll think about later, but right now you're enjoying?
Right now, I'm just enjoying them. That said, with my daughter, where I did start it earlier, it didn't go very smoothly anyways. I would have done better waiting with her.
And now she's 11 and she wants to be doing some learning.
Yes, yes.
There's the difference, eh?
Yes, that's the difference. And
Yeah.
he also, he's not interested in it. He doesn't want to sit down and do any work just yet. So why force that on him?
Because it's going to be a long trial doing it that way, and he's already been through a trial. So you're just saying,
Yes, I'm
let him
just
enjoy his childhood.
backing off. That's it. He does join us for all our Kronos learning. He joins us for that. He just I'm not doing any formal studies with him. But he knew that was a starling. That's amazing.
It is actually, and I was also quite remembering when our children were little, because I was with Sebastian this morning and he put his hand on my arm like this when he wanted to interrupt. And I said to Sylvie that I taught my children the same, that they mustn't just interrupt and jump in on the conversation. They must just let me know when they want to ask me a question. And the way to do that is to get my attention by just putting their hand on my arm. Yeah. And Sebastian was doing that. Yes. And I said to Sylvie that I taught our children the same. And she said, well, actually, she didn't teach Sebastian. Hey, you said that you taught it to the girls.
Yes.
And he's watched them doing it. So now he just knows that's what's to be done.
Yes.
So I'm using that small example as how the learning is just happening around him.
Yes, it's just trickling down. It's just because they are teaching him. And the reason why he knew it was a starling is because his eldest sister really enjoys birds. And she has this little field guide. And she will go at home, this is the that and that's the that. And so he just hears and he looks oh, okay. And they're all learning. We're all learning together. So that's fantastic.
Well, you also mentioned Kronos. Now, I do wonder if everybody understands or knows what Kronos is. When you first got Kronos, what was it to you? Because there's a before and after on that story too, hey?
There's a before and after Kronos, yes. When I first got the Kronos file, to me, it was very overwhelming. And it was this big binder with all these things that I had to do and find books for or resources for.
It's not like that anymore, I hope.
No. and all this, I was now how are my children going to learn about this or that doing these activities? It didn't compute in my head.
So you saw
how
the
to
fowl as
work.
something you had to teach them?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay, it's very good you share that, because I know a lot of people say to me that they're overwhelmed by Konos, and
Yes.
they very often end up giving it a try, and then it gets on the
Yes.
shelf.
It was
Did
too
yours
much.
get on the shelf?
Yes, I could
Oh,
not.
dear.
I actually could not keep up with it.
But what were you trying to keep up with exactly?
I was trying to teach them knowledge doing.
That must be exhausting.
It was very exhausting. So
Then you just couldn't do it anymore.
I had big mum burnout on the file, and I put it away. I was like, I can't do this. It's funny now.
Because now you do Konos. I mean,
do.
I've heard that you just live Konos now.
Yes, we do.
How did that happen? How's it different now that you can just live it and you love it, from what I'm gathering, to
Yes.
what it before gave you burnout and you put it on the shelf?
Yes, I
Okay.
did. Well, when my son recovered and we came back, I had to change everything I knew about educating my children and how to be a family. And I remembered the Konos file, and I knew you had all these videos. So I watched a lot of your videos, and it spoke to my heart how you mentioned that. Oh, it's just it's coming alongside your children, and you're just doing these things with your children, and the knowledge is just a byproduct. It's not the main reason why you're doing Konos.
Not at all.
It's this, not sure how you call it, but it's this parent book with activities to do with your children.
Yes.
So, and then I was
That's
like,
a good way to describe it.
oh yes, okay. And then I took the file and I went through it, and it's like it made so much sense. It just made so much sense because I was looking at it not from a perspective of teaching my children all these knowledge through all these activities, but it was like, oh, I can do this with my children and that with my children, and oh, they'll love doing that one. I know they're gonna love doing that one.
Oh, so you're seeing it for what they will love doing rather than seeing it for what I can teach them.
Yes.
From a knowledge point of view.
Yes.
Sure, it's so important you share this
Yes.
because, the after you experiencing is the way I've only ever known Konos. From the day I got Konos was just an extension of my mother, basically, because that's what she did with us. She saw things when she was raising her children.
Yes.
She saw things that she could do with us that could train us
But
for character.
You're very blessed.
I am
that background.
extremely blessed.
A lot of mums don't have that sort of background, and they come maybe more from a background where the children were taken out of school, or they just all they know is school, so they approach it very much with a knowledge.
So you've really helped me to understand why it is that people can get exhausted with Konos. Because to me, you do get exhausted with Konos now.
No.
Well, you see that. So from the beginning, that's how I experienced it. So this is what it's like, so exciting for me. And I just want people to have the blessing and the richness of Konos.
And then I find the way it works is you just pick activities that you will enjoy doing with your children. And then as you do them with your children, these conversations pop up. And they're not necessarily anything have to do with the character trait that that the activity comes out of, but you just come alongside your child and you can disciple them in all areas. It does not just have to be, say now you're doing attentiveness. It's not just on attentiveness. It can be, and it's so nice to know your child's heart and that you are there and you're there to do it with them and to live life with them. You're just on their level and you're just enjoying them, and it's fantastic.
So you don't sound like it doesn't sound like you're heading for burnout.
No, I don't think so.
Wow, it's exciting. And then the other thing is, staying on the topic of Konos, you discovered something that you've given a name to, memory basket.
Oh, the memory basket.
Now Sylvie came to one of the mom's teas and she saw this basket. I'm going to get up and show them this basket. I'll see if I can. It's a big basket. There we go. She saw this basket on the floor next to me, and you asked me, what's in that basket? You're curious.
Yes.
You must have done, what is the character trait in Konos? Curiosity. No,
Inquisitiveness.
Inquisitiveness. You see, your Konos. And you've obviously inquisitive mind person. And Sylvie's going, I want to know what's inside your basket. This was at the mom's tea. So I
Yes.
thought, oh, all right, I'll show you what's in the basket. And I took something out the basket, and I said, it's just some of my memories. And now you call it my memory basket.
Your memory basket.
And Sylvie asked if we could please share this sometime at a mom's tea, or even on live streaming.
Live streaming, yeah.
So now what I'm going to do, you explained why this would be helpful.
Yes.
Something to do with capturing memories. Tell me about that.
Capturing memories, because Kronos is not in a way where you have like, do this on Monday, do this on Tuesday, do this the following week. It is sometimes difficult to like go back and think, what exactly did we do, or like I don't recall. And so it's important that you somehow capture the memories that you're making with your children. So when I saw your basket, I'm like, this is a fantastic way to capture some of the memories. And then you can also later on share with your children, like, remember when we did this?
Yeah, it's almost like a memory of their childhood in something practical.
Yes.
Well, I'll just share this one then. I've got a couple of these. I'm going to just take the other two out. In fact, maybe I should just take them all out to show the difference of... This is one child's. See if I can show it. This is now Kronos Volume 3. And another child's looks a little different. And this one's got paw prints on it. We must have a little cat visiting that one. And then here's a Volume 3 and Volume 1, because basically it is red, yellow, and green, our Kronos manuals. So they're 1, 2, and 3. But what this is what I did is I found that the children were... I wanted them to keep understanding when we were doing Kronos that God was central to everything.
Yes.
So we wrote God, and they put it on the little, at the top here. And Kronos is called Kronos because it's a cone shape. It's a Greek word. And what I was imparting to them is that all these character traits we're doing in this big yellow book, obedience, orderliness, trust and honor, patience, stewardship, and attentiveness. These were character traits that God wanted us to have.
Yes.
And we've got God, and then we've got the Bible, and then we've got Kronos Volume 1.
Yes.
So to me, I was trying to put into a visual form.
Yes.
Now, I don't think this was an actual Kronos activity. This was just the cone we cut out and colored it and made for them to get an understanding of what this... Because you just say Kronos, they're not necessarily understanding what that means. It's like saying a big spiritual word, sanctification. They don't understand what that means. So then I was trying to put it into a form that when I said, let's go do Kronos, they would get a visual on that, okay? So we started with, I just typed up the 3 different Kronos Volume 1, 2 and 3, and the different character traits and the different topics in them, because I wanted them to be able to see the topics. It wasn't just mom's file holding this. They could see, oh, look, there's attentiveness. There's a whole section on birds. I want to do that, Mary Kate might say.
Yes.
And then there's an interest in that. Okay, and then I focused on just the one.
Okay.
See, this is all 3 of them.
Okay.
And then now this is just the 1 volume, and I put attentiveness, obedience. So now these are the...
So this
topics.
is just what's in the actual file.
Yes, the front page. I just typed it up and printed it out onto a yellow piece of paper. And you'll see this one I did, which is red. I did the exact same thing, printed and put the red.
Just the index.
So they, the index. So they actually started seeing red Kronos, yellow Kronos. Red Kronos is just these character traits.
Yes.
So they could get a better understanding of what it was all about. But then if we go on, and this is just card. I just gave them a piece of card, and then we bound it afterwards.
Yes.
You can just take it to a local station, I suppose, and get it bound.
Yes.
Okay. And then now we're focusing only on attention. Listen closely and watch carefully, and then the topics. I'll show it. So all I did was take that out from the beginning section of attentiveness, and then we put it there. So I didn't have to say to them, what does attentiveness mean all the time? Because now they've got it in their little book, their little flip book.
Yes.
You see?
Also copy it. You photocopy it and stick it.
Yes, stick it all over the house, And then what I asked them to do is to draw a picture that reminded them of this a whole unit, and they must put as much as they could into that picture.
Yes.
And so then we did the next one, obedience. There was a big focus on the lighthouse. And now let me just just show this picture quickly. This one's got the light. Now I'm going to see in the other child's one if what they did for.
So hold it up.
Oh, this is so interesting. Because this child, you're not going to be able to see much. Look. Look at the difference. This is two different individuals. This child we had to really encourage to use color.
Yeah.
Okay?
I can tell.
This same child now does coloring on the videos. I mean, not a child anymore. He's an adult and he's sitting there on the other side of the camera. And he didn't use color when he was a child. And now his life is about color.
Yes.
Where's that little thing? Jamie, just won't you pass me that little square thing that's over there?
Oh,
Please, I want to show them. Because you see, his life now is about color and about getting his color balances right. It's so interesting. Thanks. I just want to show them this now. Before we start live streaming, Jamie puts this thing here. Whatever that is, it's got a special name. And he then takes these colors and he makes sure that they match on the post-production. I don't understand. It's a colorist's work. They call people who do this colorists.
It's so funny, like
it is so interesting. So this is Jamie's world and life now, and yet when his Konos Volume 3 file, look, this means everything to him. Whatever made sense to him to understand what that unit was about, obedience. No, this wasn't. I've got the wrong one. This is red one. I picked the wrong one up.
Yes.
Did you notice that?
Yes.
You very politely just didn't say anything. Where are we now? You look, there's some colour there.
This one.
Oh, this one's got more colour, yeah. Look, kings and queens. There's the crown.
Yes.
Obedience of horses.
Yes.
That looks a bit like a giraffe, but that was a horse to him, I'm sure.
You must show to the people so they can see.
Oh, no, I might embarrass my son. I think I won't. Oh, he says it's all right.
It's all right.
Okay, there's some colour. That's the obedience one. Okay, and we did lighthouse. Look at his lighthouse. That's a lighthouse from one child.
Yes.
So we just now did have completely the wrong. And there's the lighthouse from the other child.
Yes.
This one's become the graphic artist.
Yes.
And this one's become a colorist, even though, as you saw, that one that I picked up the wrong flip file just now.
Yes.
So there is something from our memory basket. We could go on and on, but it's showing that each one of these characteristics was depicted in some way or other by having the name, the unit up here, and then whatever
was important or stood out to them,
to their mind. This isn't an activity in Konos that says draw a picture and put the following in it.
Yes.
It's
not prescribed.
Not in the slightest bit prescribed. Don't you find that's how it is with Konos? It's not prescribed.
It's not prescriptive at all.
No.
Now,
but before you made it prescriptive.
I made it prescriptive. I made it difficult for myself.
Oh, okay. And now you don't anymore.
No.
And it's very freeing, I can tell.
It is very freeing, and it's a lot of fun.
And do you feel like your children aren't being as well educated as they could be?
No, they are very well educated.
That's what I think. I just need to spend an hour with them, and I can. They are very, very bright children. You know, you say one of your children has got specific needs.
Yes.
And one would never pick that up.
No, you wouldn't.
Not at all. Very confident little people.
Yes.
Very good communication.
Yes.
It's just wonderful. So to me, I just see a picture of children that are loved, that are thriving, that are happy.
Yes, they are happy.
They're happy
and
children.
And it's such a joy to me. It's such a joy to be able to spend every day with them and to be able to shepherd their heart, because that's what you're doing. You just shepherd their heart and you guide them in life, and you just prepare them for whatever it is that they are meant to do for the kingdom later on when they're adults.
Exactly.
Yeah, and that's what's important. Yeah.
And I've heard, your one little girl was so excited about her maths book, that some test she had just done. So
yes.
It's not being neglected. You're not just putting all learning aside and just seizing every moment. You're keeping the whole picture in place. But the difference is that before you were turning it into you teaching lessons.
Yes.
And now it is you experiencing life with them while you're teaching them.
Yes,
Was
we're
that
just doing life together.
Doing life together.
Doing life together.
Sure.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, was there anything else from your story? Because it's quite a profound story, as we know. Is there anything else that's in your mind that you would really like to encourage moms with? I mean, what you've said, I think, is fantastic encouragement already. But if you had something you wanted to leave with them.
Also that, before things happened with my son, something happened to me. Health-wise, I had a very severe accident and I nearly didn't pull through. And I came to the realization that, we don't know if we're still going to be here tomorrow. So this whole, coming alongside your children, there's a sense of urgency in that as well.
Yes.
Because
every moment becomes urgent.
Every moment is urgent. So, and that is something that I always have in the back of my mind, like when I feel like, maybe I'd rather be, reading my novel, then I'm having this little voice like, yeah, but what if this is your, chance to come alongside your children and tomorrow you won't have that chance? So I do think of that often. And, I feel very blessed that I am still here and that I can live this life with my children. So I'm very grateful.
And now we're blessed, and the ladies who are watching are blessed, and the ladies who's going to watch after are blessed.
Yes.
But also about the men. You know what I'm thinking about now is that you mentioned something about your husband, whereby you would go to him and you would be very concerned about the education.
Yes.
And then you would get him, how did you put it? Well, you tell me that story. When you got into a panic, what happened?
Yeah, he would go into panic right alongside with me.
Okay,
because
right.
I was like, I don't know if we're doing enough. It's funny now. I don't know if we're doing enough and if we're doing the right thing, and I don't know if this is working, and maybe we must look at something different or a different approach. I don't know. And I was just, in the state. And then he would just listen to this, and then I don't know either. Yeah, maybe, I don't know. So he was go in this panic with me.
Because his wife's in a panic and she's worrying about the education of your children.
Yes.
And now he thinks maybe he must worry about it too.
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. And then, but now, when we never go there again. He always says no, we're doing the right thing. You don't even look at other stuff. We're on the right track. This is what you're doing.
So if that's in the moments that you might be a little inclined to think, oh, am I doing enough story?
Yes.
He's the one that's telling you
he's the one that
it's
says,
good.
No, this is all you're doing good. And he's such an encourager now. Yes.
Instead of you both going down the panic trail.
Yes, which we did. We did before, but now and it's so much better now for the children as well, because we're so at peace with the path we're on. So there's no more panic.
Well, I might not have it right, but as far as I've understood, you've always been on the same path. Did you sometimes, and when I say the same path, I'm talking about now the style that you've chosen for home education, even though you've told me that Konos went on the shelf for a bit and it's come back again. Have you had other things that have come in between that? Or
we have tried other things, but I believe that you can have the same vision but use other things. So our vision for our family has always been the same, which was raising our children in a godly way. But it's only recently, say after my son has been better, that we have that everything just clicked into place.
Okay.
Yeah. And that we are both mom and dad are on the same path.
And so, as you say, it's just you don't have to look around and worry, because you've got what you need.
Yes.
And you're walking that now.
Yes.
In confidence.
Absolute confidence.
Sure. What a wonderful testimony. You see now, I'm sure the moms who are watching are agreeing with me that we are very blessed to have had you come and share with us. And I'd love you to come again and share with moms, because, this live streaming you've heard from always been visiting at our live streaming. I always enjoy Sylvie being on the other end of the live streaming as one of the visitors on live streaming, because when I'm saying things, I know she's in agreement, and that really, really helps, just because some people who are watching are going, I don't know what you're talking about,
Yeah.
And so now what I've really enjoyed and valued about you being here is I know the after Sylvie and the before Sylvie, and the after Sylvie is the one that joins me on live streaming, and I know you're going, that's right, and you'll even comment on live streaming and saying, don't stress about that, you don't need to, and you're sort of reinforcing almost, you know, but now you've told everybody as to why you have in the position you're in now been able to live Konos, the Konos lifestyle, and be able to be free with that and confident, and husband and wife be together on it, and all those experiences you're having now. And what I'm appreciating of that is you used to be over there somewhere outside there that I was talking to you through the camera lens, and now you're here, and it's really supportive as well to hear about how the before was in your experience, because I haven't ever really understood it exactly as you've explained it today. In fact, there's over there, just Jamie, can you do that for us, please? Underneath that thing over there is a Konos book. If you can just pass it to us, because this is how Konos. Oh dear. Yeah, this is how Konos used to be, Sylvie. It used to be like this. A big book. And this really terrified people. But it didn't terrify me. You see, I got this book. You know, it was so exciting to me because I never saw it the way you're saying that you saw it as something to teach.
Yes.
That isn't how I experienced.
I have heard of mums that go and like, oh, okay, this, and then they go on the internet and print out like just for this one because
activity.
Some name is mentioned here, and we need to learn everything about this name, and it can get.
You see, that is what people might be doing, and you saying that exhausts you when you did it like that. And here we are the people that are distributing and printing and sharing this Konos, but I'm sharing it only with the way that I know it, as in the experience that I was raised with. And so to me it's always been exciting and thrilling like what you're experiencing now. But because it came in a book like this, I thought, okay, this seems to be scaring people. And I understand more now why. So let's put it in a file. So then we had to get special permission to put in a file, and I then started encouraging people to say to them, look, don't take the whole book, just take this one unit. Look, it's only this many pages, and put it in a separate file and only focus on that unit and read through it. That's what I've been doing, just in an attempt to help people not have fear. Or feel overwhelmed by this, because it is just a parent manual, and you can jump around in and out wherever you like with it. But I say that like that's just what everybody does. But what you're explaining to me is that people, because it's not put in today we do this, tomorrow, because it's not put in that structure.
No, it's not.
People are afraid of it, or they try and make the structure, and then it's too much work.
Yes, or they try and make it all about the knowledge.
Okay, but when you started, did you try and make it into a structure?
Yes.
Oh, so that's why you got exhausted.
I think it was a combination of the file being overwhelming, the activities being overwhelming, the book list in there, the resource list that you can't find the books, and that became overwhelming, and everything just became overwhelming. Okay,
so how can we help anybody who's feeling like that right now?
They can talk to me.
to go from that, overwhelm, and book lists and everything else. Because, to be honest, if somebody says to me, I can't find the books on the book list, I say to them, what book list? And they say the one at the beginning of the unit, and I go, oh, hang on. And I quickly look to see, and I think, they're talking about a book list. I think I remember there being a book list. And I come here, because now I'm really being honest about this, and I have a look and I go, oh, look at that.
A book list.
Oh my goodness. Look at that. This is what they took. Chronicles of the Hiding Place and Good Morning, Miss Dove, and Light and Dark by Doug Kincaid. And now they're going, I can't find these books. But why I'm not having a strong memory of these book lists is because that's not what I was doing Konos for. I never received it in a way that I must get these books and teach this light and dark lesson. What I was doing is I was seeing over here obedience. I need to teach my children to be obedient. And walking in the light, and the Word of God says, to be obedient means we'll be walking in the light, and it'll go well with us. And when we walk in the dark,
Yes.
we're going to fall into all kinds of traps and
'Cause
snares.
There's only one book you need for your entire 3 manuals of Kronos. There's this one.
It is.
Yeah.
You don't need these are knowledge-based books.
Yes.
But you see, somebody who's just got Kronos might be reading that list, and she might be feeling like you did,
Yes.
where you felt you needed these books.
Yes.
So we're telling them today, you don't need these books. You really, really don't, and you only need that.
Yes.
For real.
For real, yeah.
Yeah, and you've lived both.
Yeah, I've lived both sides. Yeah,
Okay.
I've lived overwhelming, don't know how to handle this file, Kronos, and I've lived I can just relax now and I can just be a family with my children, and even my husband joins in. Like we are just, and that stuff, yeah.
Okay, but now we
These
know
books-
that there was a very traumatic valley
There was
between
very
those
traumatic,
two.
yes.
So now people could think is that how can they get from where they are now to where you are now without having
To go
to
through.
travel? How can we help them get there? Should we just tell them just to jump there in faith?
Maybe, yeah. I think so. It's
Just-
a difficult jump to make. I have to be honest. It is difficult. I think for me, the transition before and after, because my experience was so traumatic, now on the other side, it's like, oh, yeah, like for you, you got this Kronos manual and you opened it and it was like, oh, yeah, this is fun. But other
Oh
moms
yes, I did do that.
don't experience it like that. So I think...
Would you
there's
like
a
them
lot-
to experience it like that?
No.
No. Would you like them to experience the fun? Open it
The
and
fun,
go.
yes, but not the overwhelm.
So how can you help them to get that?
They can watch videos that you made. There are videos there, but they can try and change their minds, try and overcome that. It's not about the knowledge, it's about the heart, and it's
Okay.
about discipling the children.
And this will help them to do that
And
second part.
this will help them to do that. And you have materials that cater for the knowledge. There is the maths, there is the language arts, there is a science book. How much more knowledge?
I've just thought of a way. What if we tell the people that have got Kronos that it's their fun manual? This is a fun manual. Well, I mean, try and remove the block or the dauntingness of it being a curriculum and social studies subjects and you've got to teach. Because, I mean, it does go into that. Look down the side
Yes.
here. It's history and geography and language and field trip and vocational education and science. So maybe the mom is reading this activity and seeing science next to it, and it turns it into a science lesson
Yeah.
instead of a practicing learning, having our characters transformed to obedience.
That's exactly so. That's exactly what happens.
So what we can tell them is this is a fun manual. Read the activity and have fun.
Yes.
Have fun with your children.
Yes.
Maybe that can just help to just
Maybe.
jump into the fun.
I really hope so.
I hope so.
Yes.
I do too, because you and I both know the difference of, sure, what a gift it is when you can just be living it. And then what about those moms that are actually already living it and they're experiencing that?
Yeah, I would say to those moms that they must share their experience with Kronos and talk to other moms, and also talk about their before and after, because
maybe they started with it before.
maybe they'd also started with it before and they now have, come to the realization that that's not how you use Kronos. And it just helps to have a dialogue about it and to talk about it
Okay.
and talk to other moms. Like people can ask questions in your live stream.
Yes, they
That
can.
helps.
Okay, Bronwyn says she just wants to say thank you for showing me this path. My boys are thriving because we are focused on God and their gifts. Not everyone understands having special needs children, but God understands. Exactly. Thank you for sharing that, Bronwyn.
And
That's
I
Bronnie.
think Bronwyn also has a heart for mums, and Bronwyn does share a lot about Kronos. So I think we just need more mums like Bronwyn
Yes,
to share the story.
yes. Because she's also walked a journey, and as she's saying,
Yes.
she's thriving on it. But I think you said something just now that I haven't thought about it like this either, and that was, you said that's not the way to do Kronos. Do you know, I don't think I've told people so categorically, Kronos is not done like this, and this is what it is.
I don't think I was too blunt. People need to hear that it's not done that way.
Yes.
You're going to just spoil the entire curriculum.
So maybe
that
if we encourage how it is and what Konos is for, and actually also say what it's not.
What it's not.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know that I spend a lot of time. I think I try and help people not let it be what it's become.
Yes.
But maybe if we just tell them it's not that. That's not how you do it.
Yes.
But you know where as well there could be a little bit of confusion coming in, and that is, it is done like that in other parts of the world.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it's done very much like a curriculum.
I have looked at those other places. It does trip you up when you start out and you think this is just you're all about the knowledge. It does trip you up.
Because it's not about, well, we know, we experience it, our experience of Konos has been for it not to be that. And so we have experienced a great depth of the value that we've got from Konos. When I say we, I'm talking about we, our family, and your family now as the way you're experiencing it. And it's a fantastic directive keeping us on a path, and it helps us with all these wonderful ideas, fun.
Yes.
Somebody asked in last week's live streaming, is it really okay to always have fun?
Yes, I remember that.
You were over there, you were visiting. What's your answer to that?
It's totally okay. Except when you're dealing with issues of the heart or character issues.
Yes.
Then sometimes you don't need fun.
I suppose also I was referencing mostly to learning being fun, but that's also learning.
That's also
so
still
I suppose,
learning.
Yeah,
yes.
It's learning to behave.
But everything in there, it's fun. And even the maths, right? It's fun. And the language arts, it's fun.
And if it's not, we should make it.
You should try and make it fun. There are ways.
There are. You get creative and you call on God.
Yes, you do.
And He helps us to be creative with turning this, what is a big difficulty for a child, into something that can be fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. This is so exciting. I'm so enjoying having you with our live streaming. And let's see how long it's been. It's 45 minutes. We normally sort of wrap up now, about now.
No questions, eh?
For you. Yes. Now, Sylvie would like to know what questions you ladies have got, or moms or dads or children, whoever's watching. Who's got a question for Sylvie? We don't often get. You've heard me when I'm doing live streaming.
Yes.
Ask questions.
Ask questions.
Ask questions. Ask me a question. Here I am to answer your questions. Do my best to help. But the questions don't come. It's more encouragement. It's not often that the questions are a lot. Because I think people are more listening. Like today, they would have been listening to what you've got to share. Their questions might come after.
Yes.
So if you've got a question for Sylvie, if you're watching this afterwards, because this goes on the homepage, and if you happen to have questions that come to mind and you really would like to ask Sylvie a question, they can ask you. You can just send the question on the Oikos website and say, question for Sylvie, on that ask a question anonymously, or email. And then, or on Facebook. And if you ask us any questions here that are specific for Sylvie, you can just say that this is a question for Sylvie. Yeah. Please, can I ask Sylvie?
I'll be happy to answer.
And then I'll pass it on to you.
Yeah. Great.
Fantastic. Thank you. I don't think you had much tea.
No, not yet.
And thank you for joining us. And thank you, all of you who have been there today, joining us on our live stream. And we hope that you can join us at a Mom's Tea sometime too. And we look forward to seeing you again, either at a Mom's Tea or at live streaming. Bye for now.
Bye.